criticism needs to be about keeping these commandments. This is not what I expected out of them. The true Bible, the book of our fathers.
Right. The Most High has given us guidance on what we need to do.
Talk to Eli.
Talk to my Sean.
Talk to Ezekiel.
Niggas fall every day, B. We gon' hold the line. Who'd have thought that these seeds would be so divine? Purging out the thorny kind who call themselves upright. Well, I'ma just call them Pinocchios. Lord knows he's lying, don't kid yourself. We the only ones you look at still on the block with no pushback and crushing doctors with book bags. Counterattack. Your balancing act actually looks bad, please. I can't believe that y'all down to combat for foot tags we need every day, all year, not just sometimes. No waking up to the new moon to fall asleep to the sunrise. And hocus pocus to young minds. But what I did learn is most Judases tend to run out of juice. Your fruits will get sun-dried, a detriment. We haven't been on excellence. And attribute all your efforts to decadence. All your pessimism to pestilence. You sick and embarrassing. You will be made irrelevant. So we won't give you no hand claps
for the ones who fall before the last hour, who entrusted with the watchman tower. Abandoned the garrison, didn't consider their power. Who void of foresight and lack visual prowess. Students trying to get more sight. Prudence,
all right. All praise to the Most High. We're going to stop it. We're going to stop it. We're going to stop it, brothers and sisters. We're going to stop it. We're going to stop it. And I needed to get that little bit of oomph into my bones, you know. Lord Yehoshua and King Kaz. Welcome again, brothers and sisters. We are here at in the studio. We're doing our show. We've been away from these microphones for a couple of weeks. We've been tabernacling, doing what we needed to do. That's right. According to the Most High, according to the law. And we've enjoyed ourselves on that thing. So we're back, and we want to be more professional during the times when we are not readily available at the microphone. So last week we just put up a screenshot, but I think we want to do something a little bit more sustaining. But we're back, and just like we posted last week, we're back. And first of all, I want to say happy prep day as we're preparing for the Sabbath. The Sabbath will be coming in. And we also want to give all thanks and honor and praises to the Most High for allowing us to get out and be with each other on the Feast of Tabernacles. It was really a beautiful thing. A lot of the spirits that have been cooped up for so long got a chance to breathe a little bit. So that was absolutely a wonderful thing that the Most High has allowed, and we enjoyed ourselves. And now we're back on the grind to continue to work to get our brothers and sisters back into the spirit of the Most High and keeping His commandments and keep that unity. That's a big thing that we have to keep talking about in IUIC. It is about the unity underneath God's commandments. So this is what we endeavor to keep push that unity, like the Bible says. Okay, I wanted to start out with King Kaz and Lord Yehoshua in that music selection. This song is called Judas, and it's on Original Royalty Records. I'm sure that it's been out a while, but every once in a while I like to kick it again. So, these albums are available for our brothers and sisters to listen to some righteous music, and it's a good thing, Today's topic is thy enemy is thy enemy. So let me say it again. Thy enemy is thy enemy. It's a question, because a lot of people read about the enemies in the Bible, and they don't really know about how to deal with this subject about the enemy. So I entitled it, Thy Enemy is Thy Enemy. Which is which? Which is the enemy that we're supposed to refrain from, and which is the enemy that we're supposed to love? So I want to talk a little bit about that. So that's the title of our program today. Thy enemy is thy enemy. And which is which? Which one? Because people in the churches have been totally miseducated about this subject, and we seem to love everyone that hates us, and we hate the ones whom we're supposed to love. So we want to go into this subject a little bit and to show you how pervasive this ignorance have ran rampant through the brain cells of our people, to the point where we're giving our enemies hood passes, so to speak. And when I say hood passes, there's several Edomites, because I'm going to call them what they are. There's several Edomites that have learned how to bop a little bit, learn how to turn the hat on backwards, play some beats in the background on their little radio programs and all that, and they sucker Negroes in. They sucker our people in. And our people talking about some, oh, he got swag, he got flavor, he got this. You gave him a hood pass, and then when his behind gets pushed up against the wall to have to deal with something that pertains to him and his people, then he bites you so-called Negroes, and you wonder why he bit you. And it's just like that snake and that tail that I always talk about. I ain't gonna say it because brothers know I love to say it. But that snake looked at it and said, "You knew I was a snake, so I ain't gonna say the word." Well, y'all know what it is, right? But mainly, I'm gonna focus on white supremacists who have gotten hood passes by posing that they have flavor, like they got flavor, like I said before, like they got swag. Okay. And an example of that is like what you call Vanilla Ice. Some of you may not know who I'm talking about, but a Vanilla Ice was this rapper in the, I think it was late 80s, around the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. That came up with this Ice Baby. He used the beat from Queen. I think it was Queen, Under Pressure. He had that beat in the background. Queen sued us behind, by the way. He's trying to say no, it wasn't. He said no, it wasn't their beat, but anyway, he got sued from what I remember, and Suge Knight dealt with him a little bit, I believe. Had to shake him up a little bit. I'm gonna leave that alone. But anyway, these guys coming in posing like they are brothers, posing like they are people, and getting hood passes. And when I say hood passes, like he gets street cred to get on our platforms, to use up the brothers, use up our music, make all kinds of millions of dollars. And then when it comes for him to defend something that's dear to us, like this cat named Vlad went and said something against Louis Farrakhan. And Louis Farrakhan, although we have differences in ideology, so to speak, and but he's still our brother. You so-called white people ain't gonna come on the black people's platform and ride the crest, and then you're gonna talk against our brother.
Right.
You're not gonna do that. You're not going to do that. Farrakhan can repent. You so-called white people can't. So we always going to have the doors open for our brothers. Okay? So you don't get none of us should be giving you a hood pass for you to get on our platform and talk smack. And then when somebody try to press you to say, listen, you got to get checked for that, you don't even want to deal with that. You don't even want to apologize or nothing. But yet you made, what's the brother, Deshaun Jackson?
Made them
apologize, basically tarred and feathered him all throughout the media. But white folks don't do that. In other words, they let you know, listen, there's a line that we won't cross, and we ain't with you so-called black people. We're just using you like the whores that you are. That's really what's in their mindset. Okay, I'm gonna get real as this program go on, So before I do that, let's talk about what's in the news particularly, because yes, I'm gonna talk about these so-called white supremacists that have, because they are white supremacists, and I'm gonna show you that, who have gotten hood passes by posing like they are for the black people. Got swag and all that, black flavor in their veins and all that madness, and they're the devils that the Bible speaks of. Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. I'm gonna come back to that subject, but what I want to talk about now, also what's in the news, is our sister Brianna Taylor. Let me talk a little bit about that, because there was a verdict that came out. Hey brothers, now there was a picture that I wanted to show. Look on there. There's a picture of Brianna Taylor, and it's a posting actually. Yeah, I think that's it right there. Just hang on home. Don't pull it yet. The sister was murdered. Police used a what they call it, a no-knock warrant. Went inside. Y'all know the story. Went inside the place, shot it up. She got killed. The boyfriend her boyfriend thought it was an intruder. He shot back, and then they tried to initially charge him. There's so much wickedness that's behind these situations that go on when it deals with our people with the justice system. Okay, which led me to pull this book, and I'm not going to read anything out of it, but I just want to show you the title. I just want you to just look at the title, and I'm going to go into this book probably next week or something. But the name of this book is called Black Robes and White Justice. Okay, Black Robes and White Justice. I actually had this book for about 35 years, I believe. I had this book for a long time, and I'm not going to mess with it too much today because we're going to go into some other things, but we're going to be talking about the subject of what's written in this book, Black Robes and White Justice, and the title at the top of it says, "Why Our Justice System Doesn't Work for Blacks," and it's by Bruce Wright. Bruce Wright was actually a judge in New York, and he had earned the name "Turn 'em Loose Bruce" because he understood that the justice system is different when it comes from black people versus white people. He understood that. So we'll talk a little bit about that later. I'm just throwing these little things out there. But let's show this here, because it's something that we do need to understand. Look at this. How can we rest in peace when justice is never served? Okay, this is a post that we had put together. I imagine. I figured that other people on social media has also gotten this and have put this meme up. But it was interesting to see this, and that's the scripture. Let's read that scripture, Habakkuk. Let's get that real quick while we got this up there. And we're going to go into some videos and all that. So brothers and sisters, stay tuned. We got a lot going on this platform today. So we're going to get into these things. Well, let's read that.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 4. Therefore the law is slack.
Therefore the law is slack. Go ahead.
And judgment doth never go forth.
And judgment, meaning proper judgment, never goes forth. This is something that we have to come to the understanding that we are in our enemy's land. We are not going to get the proper justice here. So the basic thing for us to do is to do like what that Bible said, is to come together, O nation not desired, and keep God's commandments. That's what we need to do. That's really the whole message. We need to come out of her, my people, like the scriptures say, and band together and keep God's laws until the Most High send the angels to take us out of our captivity and destroy our enemies. That's what we need to understand. That's what we need to be doing. So this whole point about when I said about thy enemy is thy enemy, it is for us to understand who our real enemies are. And we've been hoodwinked, brainwashed, allowing people like Vlad, allowing people like Max Kellerman. I'm going to talk about this behind too. And guess who else? So-called Vocab Malone. That snake, okay? Mark Reiser. That's his name. That's his name from what I understand, okay? But he got this thing called vocab, called so-called Vocab Malone. And the hood pass that he got was that he created this bogus madness called the apologetic street urban apologetics or something like that with Negroes on it. Okay, and the shield squad, some shield squad madness with black folk, black women, black men, giving this Edomite, I'm getting ready to say something else, giving this vicious demon a doggone hood pass. He playing black music. It's a doggone shame. He playing black music, playing beats. Let me put it that way. The insult. He got beats playing. He's acting like he's a rapper to sucker you so-called black people in, and he don't give a damn about black people. And we're going to show you that today. We're going to show you that. We're not going to postpone this. We're going to show you that today. Show you that he hates black people. He is a white supremacist. Okay? Same thing with Vlad, and the same thing with Max Kellerman. Another one that got a hood pass. Okay? Now, where we at? Read that again.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth.
And judgment never go forth.
For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth.
Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Wrong judgment proceedeth. Now, let me do something. We're going to come back to this. Let's get our disclaimer up there real quick. Let's get our disclaimer up there. Captain Sarai, hit it, please.
Israel united in Christ
Israel United in Christ, we are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if any hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus 5:1 King James Version.
You see that? Now, it's good for our people to know because we are about we're not about breaking the laws of the land because the Most High say obey the powers that be. But we obey the powers that be because God said for us to do it, not because we're in fear per se. We're doing it because God said for us to do it, and that's going along with the scriptures that say that if we don't know how to operate in another man's kingdom, who will give to us the true riches of our own? So we need to learn how to operate when, like people buying a house or something. You rent a house first, and if you're tearing the rental house up, that's giving you an example on how you're going to deal with your own house. If you know how to take care of the house that you're living in, chances are you're going to know properly how to deal when you get it for yourself. That's the same analogy here. That's the same point here. Right. So these are things that we need to understand, all right? So let me get back to, let's put my sister back up there again, Brianna Taylor. It's such a horrible situation that happened to her. Just imagine you sitting in your house, minding your own business, and all of a sudden, boom, bullets come flying in your house and you're dead, and everybody gets off. That's the only thing you just need to just wrap your head around. Everything else is BS. We don't even care about the rest of it. The main fact that can happen to any of us black folk. That's the reason why we're so outraged because of this reality that can happen to any of us. If it happened to our sister, it can happen to any of us. And yes, she's my sister. She ain't got to be in the truth. All our people, like I said before, like I talked about Farrakhan, he ain't in the truth like what we're bringing out, but he's still our brother. So I would say the same thing about my sister Brianna Taylor and all my people. Yes, I am for my people, just like you so-called white people are for your people. Vocab Malone is for his white racist people. Vlad is for his white racist people. Max Kellerman is for his white racist people. So why can't we be about our people?
Right, that's right.
This is crazy. Now, let's get back into it. Now let's put this thing back up there again because this was really something. I'm taking my time because I'm not going to rush this. We're going to be on this subject for a little bit. So as you look at the dates, if y'all look to the left of the picture, you see a young boy, Emmett Till. Now I actually had the article that came out in what was that magazine? Emerge magazine when it was printed, when they interviewed his mother and all of that, and told about how they could have done this viciousness to this young boy, and he was murdered by a white mob for quote unquote whistling at a white woman. They went and dragged him out of his house, beat him half to death, tied a fan gin and threw him in the river, and his body sank to the bottom. And that's how, and that was how, what they call justice for the so-called white woman. Okay, and that boy was beat. He was unrecognizable, and his mother said, "You're not going to have a closed casket with my son. We're going to show what you demons did
to a child.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the scriptures talk about that, meaning these are our enemies. Only an enemy would do that. So when the Bible talks about love thy enemy, it ain't talking about loving them. You don't love a rattlesnake. You don't love the incarnate of meanness, the incarnate of Satan. You don't do that. The enemies that you're supposed to be loving is the enemies among your own people. That's what this is talking about. We're going to show you that too. Okay? Now, so as you see, the date, because this ain't a coincidence. September 23rd, 1955, Emmett Till's murderers were acquitted. So let's look at our sister. September 23rd, 2020. Brianna Taylor's murderers are acquitted. You see that? They did it on the exact same day. Now, you going to tell me that was a coincidence? It's just like when they locked OJ up. I think they had his cell number was his jersey number.
Wow.
And they locked him up. I think it was exactly, I don't know if it was 3 years to the exact day of his acquittal. And they invited the Goldmans into the doggone, into the courtroom. You know, they already knew that he was going to get off. I mean, he was going to get convicted. Why in the world would you bring the parents, if you bring the parents inside the courtroom to watch OJ get off again? They said, no, we're going to get this NIGG. We're going to get him this time. So you could get a front row seat, but we're going to roast him because that black demon, that's what they were calling Johnny Cochran. They said, that nigga, I got to use the words. They said, huh? They say, yeah, that nigga got him off. We're going to fry his behind on this one. And I want you to have a front row seat. And when we lock him up, we're going to put his jersey number on the jail cell. It was a whole bunch of stuff with that. All kinds of quote-unquote coincidences. So the same thing here. That's not an accident. They're showing you they hate our guts. When the Bible says that we were sold into our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, we overlook the word enemies. A lot of times when we be reading it on the street, we got to stress the word enemies because our people don't understand that. They understand it when it comes to each other. You my enemy, nigga. You. What you sweating me for? What you sweating me for, nigga? You want some? You want some? You want some? That's how we deal with each other. But when it comes to Vlad and vocab, these dudes can come in and rape your mama. And you ain't got a damn thing to say.
Forgive them.
Forgive them. Because of that old Negro in the church and then gave you that doggone poison called religion. And it ain't the Bible at all. Y'all got something? Look like your lips are perking. Yeah. Trying to get y'all into it. Come on, what you got?
Well, I will say this right quick. Where you started off, Dick, it was hot. I tell you. But when you hear about the enemy, you know, where you describing, the word that I hear used today is culture vultures.
Yeah, exactly.
Culture vultures.
That is it.
They yet hate us so much, but yet they take our culture, they steal everything from us, and use it for their own, plight. So,
exactly. That's right on point.
Some hate.
Exactly. Culture vulture. They all been doing that ever since we were brought here. Everything that we created, they take it. So they've been culture vulturing for centuries.
Right.
Okay, and these demons that we were talking about, Max Kellerman, Vlad, and Vocab, they're the same demons. Okay, and you so-called apologetic Negroes, y'all are crazy as hell. Y'all are sick as can be. Really, y'all are super sick. Y'all are super sick. Now, let's get to the, give me the video with the attorney for my sister, Brianna Taylor. Let's get it. Let's get it. Is this it? Yeah, that's it. Let's hit that.
And joining us now is Ben Crump, the attorney representing Brianna Taylor's family. Good morning, Mr. Crump. You said a week ago that at a minimum, the 3 officers should be charged with second-degree manslaughter. What do you make of the Kentucky Attorney General's explanation as to why none of them were charged with Brianna Taylor's death?
Brianna Taylor's family, as do me and my co-counsels, Lanita Bacon and Sam Aguiar, we think it's just outrageous. It's offensive. We're still trying to figure out what evidence did Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron present to that grand jury? Did he present any evidence on behalf of Brianna Taylor? Because if he didn't, he unilaterally decided that he was going to exonerate these police officers and that Brianna would never get due process, that she would never get justice. And so we are demanding that he release that transcript so we can see if there was any evidence. Did Brianna have any voice in that grand jury proceeding?
The Attorney General spoke to Brianna Taylor's family yesterday, did he not? What did he say?
He spoke to them about 10 minutes before everything was released to the public, and he did not go into the nuance. They were not told that the wanton endangerment charges were for the white neighbor's apartment and not for Brianna's apartment. Did not tell them that there were no charges for the bullets going into Brianna's body. Did not tell them that the black neighbors that had bullet go into their apartment did not have any wanton endangerment charges. So it really underscores the
Stop
fact
right there. That's what I wanted to get to. This is the reason why I wanted this video here. So the wanton endangerment, that's the charge that one of the cops got for reckless endangerment. That's what the charge is really about. Like they were on some wild cowboy spree, just shooting bullets everywhere because they were thinking about killing black folk. And a bullet went inside a white neighbor's, and she was in danger. But you notice what he said. He said that also a bullet went inside a black person's apartment, but no charges was filed on that. So what is the difference? The bullet, there was a bullet that went from, I don't know if it's two bullets, maybe the same bullet or whatever.
Right.
But a bullet went inside the white one. They said, well, we're going to charge you for that because you put this precious white woman in danger. But going into the black, a bullet went inside the black apartment, and they said, well, hell, y'all deal with bullets every day, so we ain't no need in giving y'all no kind of treatment because y'all, that's how they see us.
Right.
They say you see bullets all the time. They say, we ain't giving you no charges on that. That's how I have to chalk it up. There's no justice for black people here. That's something that we need to get the understanding of. Okay, there's something that we need to get the understanding of. So.
Many might not know what wanton endangerment is.
Right.
So I had to look at it because I didn't know what it was either.
Okay.
It says it is in the first degree, according to Kentucky law, a person is guilty of wanton endangerment in the first degree when, under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life, he wantonly engages in conduct which creates a substantial danger of death or serious physical injury to another person.
So that's why he was fired.
Now, I looked up the class. It's a Class D felony. That goes in the likes of somebody unauthorized use of a credit card up to $5,000 to up to $500 to $1,000. So pretty much, he got classed as if he stole a credit card and used it up to $1,000. He's in that category.
Right.
In that category, that could be expunged.
Right.
So even if he serves a jail sentence, that particular thing could be expunged off of his record in Kentucky.
Wow.
So he got a slap on the wrist.
He got a slap on the wrist. But read that stuff again, that stuff before that Class D stuff, because there's something I wanted to bring out about that thing to show you that this is a racist system. Giving you a different perspective, brothers and sisters, because sometimes we gotta look at these events and see the nuances that they don't want to bring out. Go ahead, read it again.
According to Kentucky law, a person is guilty of wanton endangerment in the first degree when, under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life.
Extreme indifference to the value of human life means hatred for the persons that you are sent on a raid to take down. That's what they're saying about this one. They're saying that this one person, he had extreme hatred and he went and no regard for life, bang, bang, bang. My point that I want to bring to that is that whenever there's a unit of response, they always want to, usually, let me put it this way, usually all of the people that are going into a situation, cops, I'm talking about cops and responders, they want to make sure that everybody have similarly the same kind of mindset. My point is, this guy is not, well, he was not just some freak with a wild attitude. They all thought that way.
Right.
Because if you got somebody wild, you can jeopardize the lives of the others. So if me and Asaph would talk about, me and Deacon Asaph, we worked where we had to respond to certain emergency units in a hospital, and we were very careful about who we took with us, because we don't want somebody that's going to get up there and go wild. We said, listen, leave him, get somebody else, get this one, don't get that one, because you don't want to have a wild nut with you that's going to just make havoc with the whole situation. This guy was supposed to be different. That's why they charged him and didn't charge the rest of them. The point that I'm making is that they all thought that way. They burned him, but they all thought that way. They all had that mentality because they all went in as a group. They all have to depend on each other in those kinds of situations. So that's the point that I'm making. I hope y'all can see the connection that I'm making there. So what's my next video? I just want to run through some of these videos real quick. Give me my next video. Let me see what we got.
Deacon, I know
Yes,
too.
sir. Yeah.
I noticed too that when they was talking about that Brianna Taylor, there was a nonverbal warrant sermon.
Right. Called a no knock. I mean, they don't have to say. They didn't announce themselves.
Right.
They didn't announce themselves.
Right. And that's crazy itself, you know. So, you know, somebody just busting your house, wouldn't you or you hear somebody rambling stuff going on, you think somebody breaking in your house, wouldn't you go for your protection to try to protect your wife and children?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, you know, some of these things that the law enforcement does is you know, crazy. I didn't know that. I know most times they say, hey, police, open up. And then after a few seconds, boom, they knock the door open.
That's
you know?
because of that so-called war on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excuse to kill black people.
That's
what it is. That's what it really is. Now, I mentioned about the one wild one that they charged, and you might think that the rest of them was not in the mind state of him. I have sent a video about a man in the park. Look for that video.
Oh yeah.
I need to play that for a second. I'm gonna make some point. I'm gonna make a point with this. This video is old, but I'm gonna make the point about everybody being on the same accord. Because I want you to know that one dude that was charged with wanton endangerment, his mindset was no different from the rest of them that was together. And I'm gonna show you that. I hope y'all can bridge the gap of what I'm trying to show you. Now, this right here is the title of this one is, put it up on the screen. Let them see it. This one here is a man barely escapes being. No, that's something else. That ain't it. But you see in the picture. You see in the picture a so-called white man holding a gun in a park, and there's kids around. As when we play the video, you're gonna see it. Kids around and all of that kind of stuff. And he was taken into custody with no incident. Hardly nothing happened to him. Okay, play it.
A terrifying scene at Mission Bay's De Anza Cove today as police surrounded this armed man who refused to give himself up. Well, tonight he's hospitalized with a gunshot wound to his stomach. Tenders reporter Allison Ash looks at why police couldn't arrest him even after he was shot.
Do y'all see this?
The man in the red shirt and shorts walks with his hands up to his car. He gets in, then emerges with this.
Didn't we just see? Hold it! Stop! Didn't we just see something recent? What's the name? Jacob. He went to his car, came out with a weapon. Went into the car, came out with a weapon. But he's Esau. He's white. Total, like the brother said, the justice system is totally different for black folk. He got the gun. Look at him. Look at him. Just as red as the shirt that he's wearing. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Wow. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Police officers immediately shout out a warning that he's armed, then take cover. Dave Street saw it as it happened.
He got out of his car, and he's waving his gun around, pointing all around everywhere. He pointed at the helicopter. Okay? So, then boom, was a shot from the rifle.
The man went down, and for more than a half hour, police tried to convince him to move away from the gun.
And they couldn't approach him after they had him down because he still had the gun.
He still got the gun.
He got up from a seated position and walked to the shade of a nearby tree.
Now stop. What kind of now, that's the part I want to talk about. See all those cops going there together? They are all in one mind. That's the point that I wanted y'all to understand. They're all in one mind. Nobody broke code. Nobody did some wild wanton business. They all was on the same thought. Because they come together like that. So my point is, when them cops rolled up on Brianna Taylor, they was all thinking the same way. Mm-hmm. To kill her. Mm-hmm. To kill everybody in the apartment. That's the point. That's the point that I want y'all to get the understanding of. All of them together. No, none of those cops that's coming up on that man that's in the park with a gun in his hand, loaded, pointing.
Mm-hmm. D, let's go ahead and say it.
Go ahead.
Had that been Jake.
Oh, yeah. Do you know I was going to say that?
Had that been Jake, they fired one shot. Had that been Jake, you'd have heard multiple shots till that man was laying there dead.
And it would not have been less lethal weaponry, because I think that's what they use. I couldn't really look at the gun to tell if it was less lethal. Well, that looked like.
Oh, they got the guns there.
Yeah,
Sure enough.
Yeah. But the point is, the man is alive.
Right.
The man is alive. One shot.
Right.
I'm surprised they shot him.
I am too.
They usually don't.
Because there were situations where they don't shoot him.
Right.
There were situations where they don't shoot him. But my point is, we need to understand what it's like to be in our enemy's land. So that's the point that I'm bringing up. Okay. Let's see. Go back to the Brianna. So again, like I was saying, open that back up again. Don't go out of this yet. Now switch that to the main group. You see all of those cops together? The point that I was making about the Brianna Taylor situation, all of those cops have one mind. They brief before they go into a situation. They have a huddle and a meeting before they say, okay, we're going to do this in. You're going to do that. You're going to do this one. You're going to do that. They have all of that before they go in. That's what they do. That's what they're saying here. And everybody was in agreement to make sure that they took that man safely. Safely. But when it came to the sister, they killed her. They tried the attorney general talking about something. It was the one shot that killed her. But several rounds went into her body. They tried to minuscule the fact that she was shot up. They said, well, only one killed her. It doesn't matter. She shouldn't have been shot at all.
Right.
She had just got through working 4 shifts as an EMT. That's a very stressful, hard job. Trust me, I know about it. Okay? Very, very, very strenuous job. And 4 shifts?
Right.
My goodness. Go ahead.
Right.
What y'all got?
I was just going to say, like I was speaking earlier, they served that warrant, a nonverbal warrant, a warrant. I look at it, too. Had it been a verbal announcement, at least that makes a person aware that, oh, Lord, let me drop down or lay down on the floor. But that was no warning at all given. Y'all know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why I had brought that up, you know. So, like you said, they already had plans.
They had it planned.
They already had planned, just like you just showed in that video there. They was already in one mind and how they was going to do and what they was going to do.
Right. Just think about, just going back even further, think about the Amber Geiger case.
I was just thinking that.
The Amber Geiger case. They wanted to let her go because she thought that she was in her own house dealing with an intruder. She thought that she was in her own house dealing with an intruder, even though the furniture is laid out differently. We are in our enemy's lands, brothers and sisters, and stop giving hood passes to people that are not for us. I'm about to go into that a little bit. Give me my next video. Let's see what happened after the verdict. Let's get some of that. What was going on? Y'all can comment on some of that stuff there. Let me go. Let me open it up. Let me look at the. Close that out.
I thought you had something to say too.
What I had to say, Deke brought it out. I was thinking the same thing about the brother eating ice cream.
Right.
Just walking in to eat. Oh Lord. Whether you sleeping, eating ice cream,
just
it
think
don't
about
matter.
that. See, just what you said. You in your own house, watching your own TV or eating your own ice cream from money that you spent that you got from a job that you worked in your own safe haven, eating ice cream. A cop busts into your door and blasts you away, and almost got off. Almost got off completely. Because that girl ain't going to have to worry about nothing. Like I said in the many videos before, that girl, when she gets out for good behavior, she's in protective custody, all kind of good stuff is happening to her. When she get out, she ain't got to pay for nothing.
That was retirement.
That's retirement, early retirement. And like I said, that's an incentive in a lot of ways. Because she was young. She would have probably had to do because you usually have to do 20 before you retire. She going to get off. House paid for, just like Darren Wilson. House paid, bills paid, retirement funds, all kind of GoFundMe, all kind of stuff is going to take care of these people. So it's almost an incentive to kill black folk. I just want y'all to understand that. We're in our enemy's land, brothers and sisters. The scriptures tell us that we have to come together. The Most High got our back, but we have to follow what the Most High said.
Right.
Come on. What do we got? Let me see the thumbnail. Say something. Let me say something.
So, like we were just talking about, justice and peace. Our people go out there, they doing it. Well, they out there rioting and tearing up stuff now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll see marches out there, no justice, no peace. And they literally telling the truth because there's never going to be any justice or peace with us as a people. Am I right? So, they out there crying that, but that's not what we're going to get. We're not going to get that. Okay, and the Bible lets us know that. Okay, so where we at?
That one there. Unrest. That one. Hit that.
Here we go.
Good morning, I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for streaming with us. In today's update, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is responding after President Trump refused to commit to a peaceful transfer of power after the election.
Well, we're going to have to see what happens.
McConnell tweeted this morning that there will be an orderly transition just as there has been every 4 years since 1792.
Yeah, so move it up.
Just 40 days
I didn't mean for all this
President
stuff to
Trump
play.
is also
Just
pushing
move it up.
unfounded claims that voting by mail cities after the grand jury.
Okay.
Trump gonna
thank
fight
you.
and stay
Yeah. That's that. This system is done. This man said, "The hell with what's in the law." He's like, "I ain't leaving. You ain't taking my dump truck from me. Are you crazy?"
Right.
Holding on to my dump truck.
Why would that even be a question whether you're gonna leave the office?
Listen, but you gotta leave. You gotta leave. I ain't leaving. It's mine. I ain't going nowhere.
That's an extra for you.
Oh, Lord have mercy. That was off cue. But it was good, right?
It was good.
All right, let's see what we got here. You got now you got Los Angeles. Put it up there. Let them see. I can't. That's New York City at the top.
Okay.
Top right. The top
Left.
The top left, and then over on the right, Chicago next to it, and then underneath New York is Washington, D.C., and then you have Los Angeles. I saw something that said, let me look at this up. There's a statement that's being made about, I'm going to name the cities. It said New York and Seattle and I forget the other spot, and Portland. They named those three cities, the Department of Justice said that they are. Hold it, I gotta look for it. I gotta look for it. Say something, cause I gotta look. I wrote it down. I was trying to find the where it came from, but they said that these are anarchists. Something. There's a name that they gave to it. Come on, man.
So this is what we see happening, taking place right now, is going back months ago. I know many of y'all probably already don't forgot the George Floyd. Am I right? Y'all remember that? The people out in the streets, marching and tearing up everything, being the situation with the George Floyd incident that happened, some months ago. But now that's don't die down. And here we go again. Okay, Brianna Taylor now.
Right, exactly. So play a little bit of that, but let me read what I was talking about. It said the Justice Department has deemed New York City, Portland, and Seattle, Washington as anarchist jurisdictions. So a lot of people don't really understand what that means. That means if it's considered an anarchist jurisdiction, that means that the government can come in and take it over. And this is what is known as it used to be called. They got a new name for it, I believe now, the MJTF, or the Multi-Jurisdictional Task Force. Is like the default or the fail-safe system to come in to quote unquote restore law and order above the local principalities. So once they deemed it anarchist jurisdictions, that means that they can move in with military and all of that to quote unquote bring things back under order. Okay, so that's going on right now. Okay, so go ahead and play this.
Brianna Taylor case. Protesters took to the streets in several major cities after the grand jury declined to charge 3 officers in Taylor's killing. One officer was charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment for firing into a neighbor's apartment. Last night's protests were mostly peaceful, but things did turn violent in Louisville, where at least 2 officers
okay, so
were
they
shot.
said 3. Hold it. They said 3 counts. So that means 3 counts. Maybe they charged them with the black family too. That's what I'm trying to figure out now when they said 3 counts. Or was it 3 bullets inside the white one and a 4th one in the black one? Who knows? You know. So, but that's what they said with the 3 counts of it. But again, it goes back to the point that I was making, is that they all think the same way. They would not have had this man in the squad with them to go to serve this no-knock warrant situation if he was reckless like that in a Class D, what they call it, a Class D what?
Class D felony.
A felony. No. They wouldn't have had, they would not, in other words, they would not have brought him if they was going looking for white folks. They would not have done that. That's the point. They would not have done that. But for black people, bring anybody. That's it. Okay. So go ahead.
Trevor Alt is there in Louisville with more. Trevor, what's it like there right now?
Well, good morning, Diane. I think it could be described as a bit of an eerie calm right now. A very peaceful morning so far in Louisville, but there's still huge sections of downtown that are closed off. You can see the police presence behind me. And tonight, once again, just like last night, a curfew citywide is going to be kicking in at around 9 o'clock. Now, there were, of course, thousands of people out here in Louisville last night. After that curfew kicked in, the protest did largely dissipate. But again, that was also after those 2 police officers were shot here. It's a staggering, almost historic level of tension in Louisville, and there's no signs of this unrest slowing down anytime soon, Diane.
And Trevor, what do we know about the officers who were shot and how they're doing?
Well, police tell us that neither of those officers suffered life-threatening injuries. One of them was shot in the abdomen and did go into surgery. The other one was shot in the thigh. But again, that's the police chief saying that neither of them are at risk of dying as of right now. We do know that one person has been arrested in this shooting, 26-year-old Lorenzo Johnson. He's going to be charged with multiple counts of first-degree assault on a police officer and also...
No, hold it. I can't let that pass. Y'all see the look like an Edomite with his pickup truck. And it got no justice, no peace written on the side of the truck. That didn't just get on camera by accident.
Right.
Let me say that that's a hood pass. But let me show you how far that will go. I'm about to shift gears a little bit now. That might be considered a hood pass. Y'all allow him to come all the way inside your circle just because he put a sign on.
Right.
But I guarantee you, if push came to shove, we're about to get real now. If push came to shove and they said, listen, you have to restore this land back to the Native American Indians because you stole it. How much justice would he be talking about? That's where you black people going to get cut off at. Because he be like, listen, I ain't doing that. He said, I was riding along with you because I'm trying to get a little bit of the pie. Whatever pie is going to come down the line, I want to get some of it. But if y'all really think that I'm going to get on your bandwagon, they understand that they are enemies. They know that we were brought over here as slaves. What is wrong with our people? They know that we were brought over here in slavery. Talking about no justice, no peace. The minute black people get justice, this is sickening. The minute black people get justice, white people are going to jail. The minute black folk get justice, all white people in this country is going to jail. So what the hell do they mean by no justice, no peace? P.S. A hood pass. Go ahead.
Right. And there's many others I see out there. What you got, officer?
No, it takes me back to the mindset of we'll treat other people better than we treat ourselves.
Yes, sir.
So
That's right.
I think what happens is you got 400 years of slavery.
Stockholm syndrome.
Then you get, not the Nat Turners, not the Nat Turners where they, when you watch the movie about Nat Turner, they try to get calm the people down.
Right.
So you got your T.D. Jakes and your Creflo.
Mm-hmm.
So they teach them, get Matthew chapter 5 and 43.
See, I was we since you're bringing it up.
I'm getting ahead.
But it's no. Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. Let's get it. Well, we need to bring that in.
Because this is the actual, and this is like Galatians.
Right.
They get caught up. I think Matthew chapter 5:43. This is the one where
where we have been made super stupid and ignorant.
Super stupid. I like that word, D. Super stupid.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 43. Ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you.
Now, they like that when it comes to Esau.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to Jake, no.
Not at all.
No do good to them that hate you when it comes to Jake.
Exactly.
Do unto others as others do unto you. That's what Jake looks at Jake like.
Right.
But they give their God because they see Esau as God.
Exactly.
I can't do him no harm.
Right, exactly. So read 43 again. There's more in there.
Ye have heard.
Stop. Who's Christ speaking to? Ye have heard. Where did they hear this at?
Back in the
Old Testament. So who's Christ speaking to? The Israelites. So that's who it's talking about. Get that. Leviticus. That's what this is coming from. But your preachers are purposely deceiving you because they want you to stay. They want to stay paid, and they want to continue to sell you out.
And even in my Bible, it's precept.
Right.
Leviticus 19:8.
Wow, look at that. Damn. This is crazy. Wow.
Right.
That's what you call hiding things in plain sight. They're sitting up in church reading it. They read. That's why I use the term super stupid. You look at the words and say, ye have heard, and your mind just go to sleep. What does it mean, you have heard? They don't even pick that up.
Right. You want to start with 17D?
Yes. Come on.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
That's what they have heard. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Go ahead.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
Thou shalt, meaning that you should correct your neighbor. That's what that's talking about. Matthew 18, so you can understand. You shall correct your neighbor. Go ahead.
And not suffer sin upon him.
And not allow him to stay in sin by not correcting them, because the wages of sin is death. That's what Christ was telling the Israelites here. He was saying, listen, you have heard this, because they were back there when it was said. And he talking about some white people and the rest of these people sitting up there in church talking about some weak Christians. You stupid and dumb as hell. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
That's the you have heard, the children of thy people. And then the white man got it printed. He put the precepts, because they print these Bibles up. Right. Negroes ain't printing these Bibles up. They put the precepts in there, letting you know they know what they're lying about. That is really something. That is what you call, that will really make you mad as hell. Here you got the doggone preachers in the church in front of us telling us to love snakes. But the Bibles that they're preaching from actually giving us the understanding of what it's actually saying.
Right.
With the precepts written in the Bible, and the people in the church too damn gullible and dumb that they can't even see what this is talking about. Yes, I got to say it that way.
So they're thinking it's Miss Laura next
this
door
is ridiculous. This is absolutely, this really makes you mad when you really think about it. Because it's like our people are willingly ignorant, willingly stupid. Talking about some love, you loving people that hate your guts. Wow. Read.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor.
That's who your neighbor is, the children of your people. It ain't talking about the rattlesnake. It ain't talking about Max Kellerman. It ain't talking about Vlad. It ain't talking about so-called Vocab Malone. Those are not your neighbors. Those are your enemies, Negro. Those are your enemies, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Mexican. Those are your enemies. When the hell are you going to wake the hell up?
You know what's heavy about that, Deke? The reason why they don't know that they're not their neighbors is because we're assimilated.
Right.
When you go back into the Old Testament, we lived around each other. So your neighbors were Israelites.
Exactly.
You didn't have Edomite neighbors.
Right.
Nowadays, they said, well, no, my neighbor is Tom up the street. No, that's in your... That's why I said neighborhood.
Right.
And they don't really understand the concept of the word. Your neighbor is your people.
Exactly.
It is your people, nobody else.
Right.
Exactly.
We wasn't living near no heathen.
Right, exactly. Like you ain't supposed to be living in no heathen now.
Right.
That's what Revelation tell you that. Come out of her, my people. Listen to the language. Come out of her, my people. The Most High separating the neighborhood. That's God speaking.
And deep, when you look at it, even when you go back in some of these old movies you watch, they did not want us in their neighborhoods.
Right,
exactly.
right.
They will run you out, burn crosses in your yard.
There you
that
go.
mentality is still here today.
It's still there today. Let your house catch on fire.
But our people, they can't get it.
No.
You just read it. Nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Thy people.
That's
I had to
plain.
put emphasis on
Right,
that.
you have to. You
know
have
what's
to.
heavy about that? You got LeBron James, all the money he got, and they wrote nigga on his gate.
You see that? Damn.
Wow.
You got $1 million house,
Right.
and somebody come up there and write nigga on your gate.
Now, wait a minute. Now, he got the $1 million house. I bet you the houses, listen to this now. The houses that are next to him ain't even worth the house. It's not even worth the price of his house. I already know that. He's in a neighborhood with the biggest house, looking the best. The property value of all of their homes go up because of his. They spray paint nigga on his house.
They probably said the property value went down when he moved.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
We
And
done
that's
got
what
a
a
nigga
lot
in
of
the neighborhood.
That's what a lot of them would do, especially back in the day. And they still do it today. They will move out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They moving out of there.
Yeah. They doing that. They're
Right.
doing it all over the place.
And that's your neighbor? No way.
All praise to the Most High. Let them move out.
Right.
Let some black folk move next to
Right.
them. That's how we want it. Read on.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
I am the Lord. So that was a message that was given to the Israelites. Now, give me Matthew. Go back to where you was at, Eli.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 43. Ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy.
So if the Most High is talking to us again, he said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. Even in that statement there, that enemy there is still talking about the enemies among your own people, because it was still talking about your neighborhood. When your neighbor go off and do something like an enemy would do, like the Bible talks about with Saul.
Right.
He said that Saul became David's enemy. And you have to know how to. The reason why the Most High used the term hate, hating your enemy, because that's a defense mechanism. See, our people get simple. Our people don't. If you don't hate a rattlesnake, your behind will be dead. If you don't, if hate it, doesn't mean like you looking to just do all kind of evil. The hate in your mind will teach you how to respond to an enemy. That's the whole purpose of the emotion hate. You're not going to bring your children around somebody that hates your children, because you know that if you leave them in the company of the man that's their enemy, your children will be destroyed. So hate will tell you, I need to keep my children away from you because you are their enemy. That's what this is being said here. But the difference here, give me that. Give me that in the New Testament where it says, if thy enemy hunger. I gotta break it down for him. If thy enemy hunger. Because it ain't talking about the rattlesnake. The rattlesnake gonna bite you and kill you.
Romans.
Let's read that.
13.
You know what I'm talking about?
Romans 12.
Yeah. Read that. Who's got it?
Romans chapter 12, verse 20. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him.
Feed him. Go ahead. If your enemy hunger, this is what Christ was talking about. If your enemy hunger, feed him. Wait a minute. Did the North American Indians feed the so-called white man when he came over here?
Yes, sir.
Sure did.
So what did those enemies do? They murdered and stole the damn land and put Gad on in their own, put them in their bathroom basically, and say you got to live in the bathroom of your own house. Reservations. Put them on reservations. They own the whole house. They said no, we're gonna put you in the bathroom
After they had
after they had eaten. So that ain't the enemy that the Most High is talking about there. Read.
Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him.
Therefore, if your enemy hunger, feed him. Listen to why Christ is saying this. You so-called black people are trying to feed Vlad with your millions of dollars. You're trying to feed Vocab Malone with your millions of dollars and your support. You're trying to feed Max Kellerman with your millions of dollars and your support. And these people ain't got no conscience towards you. That's what I'm going to show you. They don't give a damn about us.
Right.
But the purpose of why Christ is telling us here in Matthew to love our enemy, meaning the enemies among our own people, is because there's a component in each of us that we recognize about each other. That's what we're about to read now. Read.
If he thirsts, give him drink.
If your enemy thirsts, give him drink. There's two kinds of enemies. That's the point I'm bringing out. Go ahead.
For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head.
Coals of fire means conscience. By you feeding him.
Right.
Your enemy, you know what? I went and did all kinds of wrong to you.
Yeah.
I did all kinds
Lied
of
on
this.
you.
I lied on you. I did all kinds.
Right.
And then you treat me with a level of kindness. And I'm saying, wait a minute. Why didn't you like this?
Cuss me out, in other words.
Right. I smacked you on one side.
Right.
How come, I will like turn the other cheek?
Right.
You just turn the other cheek.
Right.
It's the same point. It's the same point. Because when you turn the other cheek, the message is that, listen, you're my brother and you just got the devil on you right now, and I want you to repent from that. But you cannot do that to a natural enemy. No. A natural enemy is out to kill you. That's what you have to understand.
Can we get the example real quick? And this is why Christ said, the Bible says David was a man after his own heart.
Right.
Get that in 1 Samuel chapter 24. Let's see what David did to show what Christ and Paul was speaking about.
Go ahead with it.
1 Samuel chapter 24. Let's get to the point. We're gonna read down about 5 scriptures. Go to verse 15. Let's read down to 20.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 24, verse 15. The Lord therefore be judge, and judge between me and thee.
These are two Israelites. Okay, go ahead.
And see and plead my cause, and deliver me out of thine hand. And it came to pass, when David had made an end of speaking these words unto Saul, that Saul said, Is this thy voice, my son David? And Saul lifted up his voice and wept. And he said to David, Thou art more righteous than I.
He had a conscience.
You see that?
He had a conscience. He wanted to kill David. But after David showed him, the Most High put it in my hand to kill you, but I didn't.
Right. Exactly.
Read that statement again, because that is on point, straight fire to that head. Read that again.
Read 17 again.
Verse 17. And he said to David,
Saul said to David,
Thou art more righteous than I.
Thou art more righteous than I. Go ahead.
For thou hast rewarded me good, whereas I have rewarded thee evil.
The so-called white man did not do that with Gad. Understand the difference. They didn't, when Gad rewarded them with good, they didn't change their mind. They said, let's kill him. Because that's the act of an actual enemy. Thy enemy is thy enemy. The problem is you don't know which is which. That's why I titled it that way.
Right.
Go ahead. No, there was more.
There's more on that.
Go ahead.
Verse 18. And thou hast showed this day how that thou hast dealt well with me.
That is the example of what Paul was speaking about.
Exactly.
If he's hunger, if he's thirsty. Like Deke said, the brother was out the spirit. Okay, King Saul was out the spirit. David had it in his hand to kill Saul, but did not. Okay, read on.
For as much as when the Lord had delivered me into thy hand, thou killest me not.
Read.
For if a man find his enemy...
That was what Saul and David was at that point. They were enemies. Well, David was an enemy to Saul. Saul wanted to kill David. Read that part again.
For if a man find his enemy, will he let him go well away?
Did Esau do that with the northern kingdom? No. Go ahead.
Wherefore the Lord reward thee good for that thou hast done unto me this day.
And understand, read the next verse so we know what he's talking about. What kingdom is he speaking about?
And now, behold, I know well that thou shalt surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in thy hand.
And that's what you got to understand. We're all talking about Israelites. We're talking about the kingdom of Israel. So as Deacon is bringing out your enemies of your enemy, we're talking about your people.
Right, the ones that Christ told you to love. That's the point.
Right.
So read that back in Romans again. Excellent information.
And we just
and then you know what? A lot of people go into church, they're following, they see what we're reading, and they know we're telling the truth. Right. They know that. And I'm glad that a lot of y'all are questioning your preachers too. I know your preachers are catching hell. Bishop Nathaniel has been tearing up D.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
With all that BS that he's teaching. With all that BS that he's out there messing that whole congregation up. Messing them up.
Right.
And a lot of them are asking questions about them lies that they learning. All praise to the Most High. And yes, Christ is black. You can just start with that right there.
That's right.
Christ is black.
Right.
Go ahead.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 20. Therefore, if thy enemy hunger, feed him.
Feed him. Go ahead.
If he thirst, give him drink.
This is your neighbor.
For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head.
You can't heap coals of conscience fire on a devil's head. The conscience of a devil is to kill you. That's exactly what they're doing. The conscience of Vocab and Max Kellerman and Vlad is to take advantage and to rob black people to nothing. Take advantage of them. That's what it's about. Just like they would do a whore. They ain't gonna marry the woman. They just bang them, and then when they get done with them, they're done. That's what these people are basically doing with black folk.
So you were just bringing up David and Saul, right? And we were just reading there again in Leviticus 19:17, where it said, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart."
Right.
You see David applying that, right? Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Sometimes we have differences in amongst us, you know.
Exactly.
You might rebuke me, or I might rebuke you.
Exactly.
But it's up to me to make sure I don't carry that grudge. You know, some people get upset because you rebuke them. You see what I'm saying?
The whole point about the rebuke that we do is to gain your brother.
That's right.
That's the reason, and the Most High has that set up for the Israelites. You can't gain a snake.
Right.
You can't gain somebody that's trying to destroy your family. Like Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Let's get that real quick.
Right. And
then we're about to take a break. Yeah.
And as you're getting that deep, because it said, thou shalt not avenge. David could have avenged himself.
Exactly.
With Saul.
There you go. Right on point.
Right?
That's right.
And that was the bottom of when you look at Romans, that's the bottom. That's verse 21.
Right.
Which says, be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good.
You see that? Right. That's the point
not
right
bearing
there.
no grudge against his brother.
All that is reflected. That's the reason why Christ started the whole thing out. He said, ye have heard, because he was talking about the Israelites that were neighbors to each other. That's what you so-called black people need to understand. The Bible is your book. You need to really seriously understand that. It's not just the name of our show. The Bible is the book of our fathers, literally. Okay, brothers and sisters, let us take the break, because I know we're at the break time, and we'll be back after these words. We'll be back after these words, brothers and sisters. Stay with us.
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Israel United in Christ presents to you the Hebrews Journal, the news from our world, informative articles on marriage, health, and current events for the building of our nation. Download your free copy today by visiting IsraelUnite.org. Shalom.
Tennessee, bringing awareness to the missing black women and the children and men throughout our communities, throughout the world. Over 300,000 black people that come up missing yearly. 64,000 of that is black women. As you can see that we're at the truck stop here in Nashville, Tennessee. And at the truck stops is a harboring place for prostitutes, all right, for drug dealers. You see a lot of hotels around. You see the interstate nearby. All right, we're here to bring awareness to the people. We on a flyer mission. We got all around passing out flyers of missing people. curse according to the Bible.
All right. All praise to the Most High. Let's go right into it. Give me Deuteronomy the 20, because I'm still talking about enemies, and we're getting ready to get into some of these videos that I was talking about. But give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we'll start with verse 45.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
The thou is the Israelites. And the Most High said that because we broke his laws, curses was going to come upon the children of Israel. And our enemies, the real work of an enemy is to make us not get connected to what we're reading. It's such a big issue to them that we're reading the Bible and we're finding out that we're the Israelites. And they had done everything, rewrote the Bible, meaning with this new King James crap, NIV, all this kinds of stuff, trying to take us out of the mindset of the Bible, out of the real Bible, the King James of 1611, so you can understand. Okay? That's the book you need to be reading. Read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
This happened to us because we didn't keep the laws of the Most High. Read.
To keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee, and they shall be upon thee for a sign.
And these curses shall be upon us for a sign to identify that we're the Israelites. So that's how we know. That's the reason why when we did that video, Bishop did that video in Atlanta about Hitler and what was it? Hitler and anti-Semitism, when they attacked Deshaun Jackson and all of that.
Yes, sir. They was attacking.
They was attacking them. You know, in that video, it was showing you who the real Jews are. We went through that. We went through those curses pretty clear and showed you that the Bible is talking about the plight of the so-called Negro, West Indian, Haitian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Mexican, the Israelites, not these so-called white people. Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Go ahead.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
Go ahead.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
These are not the enemies that we was reading about earlier. Therefore thou shalt serve strangers, people that are not like you, people that don't have a coals of conscience on their head. That's not the enemies that Christ was talking about in the New Testament. Understand which is which. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things.
You see how they did to us? When we deal with each other, if my enemy hunger, meaning my neighbor, when I feed him drink and food, they appreciated that.
Right.
And say, you're more righteous than us. So let us resolve our differences, because I see you didn't attack me like I attacked you. But these kind of enemies here ain't thinking like that. You need to know the difference. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And a real enemy is looking to destroy you. Is looking to destroy you. That's what you need to understand. Okay? That's what a real enemy does. So that's the enemies there. Give me Luke 168.
And you know, Dick, you said earlier, that's a defense mechanism the Most High put in us.
Exactly.
And we're so ignorant to the word of God that we, instead of getting away from it or getting out of it, we draw closer to them.
Right.
You know, and you see a lot of that happening today.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we're not recognizing who our enemy is.
Like the poker dice.
Exactly. Hey, you got a fire that you stick your hand in the fire and you get burnt. That fire becomes the enemy to your hand.
Right.
Now they're going to call your hand a hate group because you don't want the fire to continue to burn you.
Right. You won't lay down, let
you
it
won't
walk
let,
over
you won't let it. You won't let it burn you up.
Keep your hand
and you
in
listen
there.
to an enemy. The fire is telling you you're a hate group because you won't let me burn you up.
Wow.
Why you won't let your hands stay?
Why don't you want to let your hands stay in there? You scared? You scared? You listening to them Israelites, huh? Come on in here and get burned up, so you can be good Christians.
Yeah, you listening in the water too much.
Right. You listen. Wow.
Luke, the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David.
That's the black Christ that's coming to save Israel. Go ahead.
As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began.
This has always been the point of Christ saving the nation of Israel, because we have always been the people of God. Go ahead.
That we should be saved from our enemies.
That we should be saved from our enemies. Wait a minute. Why does Christ have to, why do we have to be saved from our enemies? Because our love did not change them. Our love did not charm the snake. That's the point. If we were going to love them to the point where they would deal with us like we would want them to, there's no need to save us. Understand that. There would be no need to save us if they were dealing with us properly. But Christ is telling you that these enemies are out to kill you, and I have to save you from them. So the enemies that Christ was talking about in Matthew 5 is not the enemies that he's talking about delivering us from. It's totally two different things. Your preacher should have been told you that. Read.
That we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
And from the hand of all that hate the Israelites, that hate us. That's what a real enemy does, okay? Fire hates skin. Where they burn it up, okay? You need to understand that. There's a time and a season for all things, and Most High tells us about that, okay? Now, I guess I'm going to have to talk about that too. We'll get into that. Now, let me move on. Give me J. Edgar Hoover, because there's a lot of things that enemies do to destroy, to make sure that we never come to the realization that we're the Israelites. Like I talked about in other classes, I talked about the miseducational conspiracy to destroy the Israelites. Okay, meaning they lied about the slave trade in terms of the 1400s when they were kicking us out of Spain in the 1400s, and while they were destroying us in Spain. What you would call the Moors in Spain, while they were destroying us in Spain, what else were they doing? They were going throughout Northern Kingdom and destroying them at the same time. So the so-called blacks and the so-called Hispanics are the same people, and the same people that was doing it to us was doing it to both kingdoms. They were doing it to the northern tribes, which was in Santo Domingo, which was known as Hispaniola. They was doing it throughout Cuba. They was doing it throughout North America. They were doing it all over, Puerto Rico, all of that. And they were also doing it to us in Spain, in Portugal.
Can we get that deep?
Yes, sir.
Get Jeremiah 50 and 33. Like you said, it was like when you think about a flea flicker or something, the play that they used was to destroy us on one end of the earth and destroy us on the other end of the earth, and we didn't even know that we were being destroyed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Read what you got.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
So Northern Kingdom was over here. Judah was over in the west coast of Africa, okay, and then in Spain as well, right? Go ahead.
And all that took them captives.
And then they took us captives from 1492 all the way up until 1600s. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Did we leave this country? We have not left this country yet.
Right.
We're still here.
Yeah, we're still up underneath our enemies. That's the point. Even if we leave the country physically, we're still up underneath. Christ has got to redeem us from the hand of all of them. Okay? Excellent point. The Israelites were oppressed together. That's what it's talking about, the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, give me the J. Edgar Hoover now. Again, showing you how our enemies really deal. You can't love these kinds of people. You can't be talking about some turn the other cheek to these kind of people, because these people, their objective is to destroy you. When J. Edgar Hoover, I'm reading it now, when J. Edgar Hoover was asked what, in his opinion, was the single greatest threat to the United States of America. In other words, what is the enemy of the state? You got to think about that. What is the enemy to, wait a minute now, we were used to build it. Just listen to the work of an enemy. They dragged us here, worked us for free. We built it up, gave our blood, gave our tears, gave our labor, gave everything to build this, and ain't got paid at all. And they've built all of this on top of bones, on top of blood, on top of murder, on top of castrations, tarrings, sterilizations, lynchings, rigged juries, jailed, bonfired. On top of all of that, you built this. And then the FBI director is asked the question, what is the single greatest threat to the United States of America that we built through our death? And his answer was Negro unity.
So, in other words, we can't even love each other.
We can't even
come together.
We can't even.
That's a threat to them.
Exactly. Us coming together is a threat to them because you coming together means that the fuel that it took to build this is threatened. I need you to continue to stay in slavery so that this society can continue to flourish at the expense of your death. That's what they're saying. That is an enemy. You can't love that kind of enemy. Yes, we have to work with them. Understand the difference. The scriptures say for us to use the world and not abusing it. The scriptures say, another part of the scriptures talks about make friends with the mammon of this world. Some of y'all take that too far. Yes, we work with them. Hi, Bob. Hi, Jim. How Mr. Dandy, whatever his name is. You say all of that good stuff because you keep the cordial relationships and all of that. But you ain't marrying my daughter, and you don't want me marrying your daughter. You don't want my son marrying your daughter, and you don't want my daughter marrying your son. You know that. So that's where we cut the line, and it's a mutual understanding. But the scriptures say that we have to deal righteously in this world. We do that, but we're not going to take that and talk about something. You can come in the house. You can take my daughter. You can take my son. No. That's what you need to understand, black people. The love that goes beyond that is for your people. That's what they understand about themselves. This man said that Negro unity. We need unity bad. They want us to stay disenfranchised, broken up, no family. Unity means family, for crying out loud. Means father and mother in the house bringing up children. That's unity. They said we don't want that at all. We need you to be continual slaves so your black flesh can continue to get pumped into the prison system so we can make billions of dollars off of you. That's what we brought you niggas here for. That's basically what he's saying. You can't love that kind of snake. That's not hate talking. That's truth. That's facts. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sirach, chapter 12, man. Chapter 12, verse 10.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10.
Come on.
Never trust thine enemy.
The Bible says never trust thy enemy. Never trust thine enemy. The enemy there is talking about the real natural enemy. Listen, the natural born killer, the snake. I got to say it. I got a snake. I got to say it. They're going to get on me, man.
Yeah,
They're going to get I got to do it.
Yeah.
I got to get the spirit of this thing got to come out.
Right.
Here's a woman. She's outside picking up firewood, and she comes across a poisonous snake frozen in the snow. The snake cold, half dead. That's what Gad did. Gad brought the so-called white man, came into the Americas, and he was frozen in the snow, damn near literally. Gad taught him how to farm. God showed him how to cook, how to work the land, to eat, to survive. The woman brings the snake in. Nice snake. Pretty snake with blue eyes. Look at that skin. Oh, man, I wish I looked like that with this beautiful blonde hair. Give me that snake. Warm the snake up. Bring the snake by the fireplace and warm it up. Marry the snake. Nice snake. Then one day the snake bit her. Bap. Now everybody's in shock. Black brothers is in shock that Vlad said to hell with your Farrakhan. We don't give a damn if he's your leader. To hell with him. He said something figuratively against my white Jewish so-called Jewish people. And because of that, I'm going to speak evil against him, and I don't give a damn what you niggas say. That's basically what he said. So the snake bit us. Bap. And then we like, why did you bite me? We were together. You came on my rap shows. Mm-hmm. You put your hat on backwards. You played some Negro beats. We were down. The snake looked at the Negro. Bitch. You know it was a snake. That's basically what happened. Mm-hmm. Because when the white man said that I'm going to defend white people, I don't give a damn if I offended the whole black community because I don't need you niggas. That's basically what he's saying. Now I'm going to get the rest of these. I'm going to get Max Kellerman. I'm going to get his ass. He's next. I'm getting ready to get him now. Was I done? I was done with that statement, right? There was more?
No, sir.
Come on.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Meaning the snake got venom and he going to bite you. That's what he's saying. Didn't you know it was a snake? Go ahead.
Though he humble himself.
Though he humbled himself like a nice snake frozen in the snow. I need help. Please help me. Go ahead.
And go crouching.
And he go crouching. Please bring me in and warm me up. I will take care of you. I'll be nice to you.
Yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass.
Meaning he don't give a damn about you. Read.
And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away.
His rust, meaning his venom, his poison to bite you and take advantage of you, is not out of him, because that's what an enemy does. Go ahead.
Set him not by thee.
Set him not by thee. Don't set Max Kellerman up by you. Don't set Vlad up, giving him a platform in black music. Go ahead.
Lest when he hath overthrown thee.
Yes, when he take over your whole career.
He stand up in thy place.
He stand up on your rap records. Now you need me. I don't need you niggas. Y'all need me.
Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith.
Meaning he said, and at the last bit, you're going to remember that this was an enemy that you were not to trust. I mean, now you got pricked by him, you got bit by him, and now all of the brothers is all sore because they can't understand how come this man just disrespected us like that after we supported him, after we did this, after we did that.
So he done took their place.
He done took their place. He don't give a damn. Now, go ahead. Y'all gonna say something? Because I had more in this, but I want to read on. I want to get it all out. Read.
Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts?
You play with a snake and you get bit. Nobody gonna feel sorry for you because the word was don't trust him. Don't trust Max Kellerman. Don't trust vocab. Those are white supremacists. Read.
So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity?
Who's gonna pity when you should know better? Go ahead. Your preacher's supposed to have taught you this. That's the point. You're being taught now. Read.
For a while he will abide with thee.
For a while he will abide with you. We're rappers. Listen to my beats.
But if
what did vocab say to that dude that used to be with us, the producer, so-called producer? He talking about some slavery in the USA. He actually made mockery of our slavery, and a Negro told us some, yeah, we got to talk about that off the air. Unbelievable. Man didn't give a damn. How in the world you going to trivialize what happened to us when we were castrated, raped, murdered, robbed, and you're going to quote unquote make a song about slavery in the USA like it's some damn rap record. And a white man is telling a black man this, the descendant of slaves. Unreal. Wow. Somebody said that he's the biggest coon ever born. Somebody said that. One of the brothers from the other camp. I heard that. That was funny as hell. He said, "I don't think there's nobody that could take the trophy,
Coon Award.
The Coon Award."
I think Deacon Abiel fix your face.
Yeah,
He
man.
did
Lord have
a
mercy.
show.
Unbelievable.
You told me about this.
Yeah.
The Coon Award.
The Coon Awards. Coon train is coming.
Oh, Lord.
Read.
For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry.
He's not going to stick around when you lose everything. That's what he's talking about. Because his job was to bite you and take it away from you. That's what a real enemy does. He's not going to feel sorry because you fed him like your brothers will. That's the point. That's Stokely Carmichael had it right. He said that was Dr. Martin Luther King's biggest mistake because he assumed that white folks had a conscience, white America had a conscience. He said that was a fallacious mistake. You assumed that they had a conscience. Go ahead. He understood that. Read.
An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to overthrow thee into a pit.
That is what these dudes are doing. These so-called white men. These so-called white men that you black people have given ghetto passes, so to speak. They sit by you and act as if they're down. And they don't give a damn about us. Go ahead.
He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
He will not be satisfied with blood. He'll kill you and build a house right on top of your dead body. That's what that's talking about. He will build a body on top of your, will build a house on top of your bones. Because they love what they've stolen. They're not trying to give this up. They're not trying to give this up. Now, let's get to it. Give me Mark Reiser, a.k.a. Vocab, the white supremacy advocate.
And before you go in there, can I pull one scripture right quick?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I sent them that video too, so y'all should find it in the timestamp as well.
All praises.
But Isaiah 59, and let's do verse 9, and we're gonna go right into this Mark Reiser.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 9. Therefore is judgment far from us.
But judgment is far from us. We see all this going on with Brianna Taylor. We've seen the George Floyd. We see all the other incidents that happen to our enemies and how they get off. They get judgment. They get what they're looking for. But when it comes to us, therefore judgment is far from us. Read on.
Neither though justice overtake us.
It ain't like justice just overtaking us. We ain't celebrating and hoorah, man, we got it. We finally got what we needed. No, read on.
We wait for light.
We looking for some light. Read on.
But behold obscurity.
It's unclear. We don't, man, what's going on? What happened? Why this didn't go that way? We in obscurity. Read on.
For brightness.
We looking for brightness.
But we walk in darkness.
But we continue to walk in darkness. Go to verse 1 right quick.
Verse 1. The book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that he cannot save.
That's who we should be looking towards for judgment and for righteousness, but we're not. We're looking to our enemy. But the Lord's hand ain't shortened. Read on.
Neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear.
You think the Most High don't hear and see these things that's going on in the earth today? But read on.
But your iniquities have separated between you and your God.
Just like you said, come out from among them, be ye separated. Am I right? We read in Revelation 18 that we don't be partakers of their plagues. We continue to mingle with with this enemy, with them sweet talkers.
Right.
Read on.
And your sins have hid his face from you.
And because of our sins, that's why the Most High hid his face from us. Is that it?
That he will not hear.
That he won't even hear because we won't even repent and follow the instruction that he's been giving us all along. So I just wanted to bring that out.
All praise to the Most High. Hey, don't play the shit. Give me Max Kellerman. I need him first. I need that bastard.
Oh, boy, Max Kellerman.
Get Max Kellerman. A lot of y'all probably don't remember who Max Kellerman is, but some of y'all may. I'm the one that don't keep up with these things. A lot of people know who these people are. Max Kellerman. He was the one that was,
Deshaun Jackson.
Right. Just show a little bit of that so they can understand. We're going to get it right. Play that. Let's get the sound. This was over the situation where Deshaun Jackson had shown on his Instagram photographs of a quote that somebody else made, and Max Kellerman said that, if you're right, and Hitler and all that, and Max Kellerman took offense to it and attacked the brother. Go ahead.
The Eagles released this statement on Jackson, which read in part, regardless of his intentions, the messages he shared were offensive, harmful, and absolutely appalling. They have no place in our society and are not condoned or supported in any way by the organization. We are disappointed, and we reiterated to Deshaun the importance of not only apologizing, but also using his platform to take action to promote unity, equality, and respect. We are continuing to evaluate.
He said, so basically, Deshaun Jackson wasn't about unity, when that's exactly what he was about.
Right.
But the problem is, it said that you're not supposed to unite your people, because J. Edgar Hoover already told you that. You're not supposed to unite your people. You're supposed to unite America to keep you niggas in slavery. That's basically what the message, that's what they're really saying. And they roasted that brother. They roasted the brother. Max Kellerman, that demon, roasted him.
Yep.
Go ahead, play on.
The circumstances and will take appropriate action.
And the reason why I call Max Kellerman a bastard, because that's in the Bible. Zechariah chapter 9 and 6, it says, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Okay? So that's them. So that's Max Kellerman and his people. Ashdod is modern day Tel Aviv. That's where the so-called Jews are. That's Max Kellerman. He talking about he's a Jew. That's him. He's the bastard that the Bible's talking about.
Right.
Read. I mean, play on.
Max, I want to start with you.
Listen,
what's
watch
your
this.
reaction to these comments by Deshaun Jackson?
Sorry, did you ask me, Molly?
Wow.
Yeah, you, Max, please.
First of all, I'm Jewish,
Oh,
so I'd like to accept Deshaun Jackson's apology, but I need to know more.
Stop. I don't need to have to know more of this. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we tore this man's behind up on that video. So go back and watch Bishop's, watch go IUIC in the Classroom 2, IUIC Hitler anti-Semitism, something like that is in the title. And no, we don't give a damn about Hitler. This ain't about Hitler. This is about the so-called white man don't want right. Show that. That's the video there.
Right.
Go there and watch that.
Excellent class.
That's the class you need to watch. Okay, that's where we dealt with Max Kellerman. But let's go back. Let's go back to this thing here. I want to show y'all something. This dude here, just show his face. Just show his face. I'm gonna show, 'cause I didn't forget the point. Max Kellerman, you hear him speaking against Deshaun Jackson, speaking against black unity. You hear it all, right? Give me the next video with this piece of garbage bastard. Give me the next video with him in it.
Oh, boy.
Give me the next video. I think I sent it to you. Look for it. Max Kellerman, the rapper. I didn't want to even say it. I wanted to find it. Oh, Lord, don't tell me I ain't sent it. Man, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead and send it, D.
Yeah, I got to send it. Go ahead and say something.
And if y'all remember, if it's not, let's see, shortly after this, the Deshaun Jackson situation, we had the Nick Cannon situation come up. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that one there?
Yes,
Nick
sir.
Cannon? Yeah, exactly. Nick Cannon himself also, because he made some statements. The next thing you know, they was coming after him. So, as y'all see, you can't win either way you go. We got to get away from these people. But like I said, we give them a pass to come in to our neighborhood, come in our circle, and we're supposed to separate from these people. You know, here you go, right here.
Right. This is the same guy. This is the same guy that's destroying black people with his lies. Open that up. Let them see that. Get it all. We ain't gonna play the whole thing, but I want y'all to see who this is. Show the look at the top. Max Kellerman, the pale white rapper back in 1994.
Wow.
Play that. This is the same man that you so-called Negroes gave a ghetto pass. You gave him a black. Gave him a pass, and this nigga turned this.
I know, D. Go ahead and bite the mic.
You got the right thing. Bootlegger.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Bootlegger.
Right.
He wants to be us. Only to use us.
Culture vulture.
Right. Go ahead, play it.
New York's a state my city's in. A man who I hate, I pity him like a branch Davidian.
Culture vulture.
Got hands of stone like the champ from Panama. Bodies drop for body shots, cause I could box. No need for clocks.
Okay, stop.
So this is the same man?
That's the same man.
Oh, my.
That's the same man. You see, he got black people
Is
in the
this
background.
the man?
This the man. He got black people in the background. We gave him a hood pass.
Wow.
And then he's later trying to destroy black unity. He used us up.
He made sure he put those black people.
He
in
put
the
them
video,
black
too.
exactly. He put black people in there. That's the cred. That's his whole backup singers, basically.
Looking like Remy from Higher Learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Probably had nothing to do with him after that video.
Right.
Wow. He was done.
I get so hot with sometimes because, I just hate to see these kinds of things go down.
Right.
You know? Go ahead. Now, give me let's see where I want to go.
He was going back to Mark Rising, right?
Right, yeah. Let's get him now. Give me the clip that you put up there. Because we gave vocab a pass as well. They don't give a damn about black folk, and this clip is gonna prove it. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Listen to this. Now, this is about the black, what he called the black Hebrew Israelites. And a lot of black so-called Negroes that was with us. That's what I don't want to use that word because I use the word, nigs. And I know some people got offended. Sorry about that, black people. I apologize for that. But sometimes you just get so heated when you see our people getting taken advantage of the way they get taken advantage of. You just get angry. And you want our people to wake up. Hit it.
DNA.
So how much of this do you cover in the book? Do you cover all of the things that we've talked about?
Not
today?
all, but a lot.
Okay. So, well, again, we're going to have to cut this interview short today, but if you want to learn more about the Black Hebrew, yeah, you got it right here, the Black Hebrew
I put it on the
Israelites.
title so people know what I'm talking about, but in the book I call them just Hebrew Israelites. But
Okay.
It's on the title.
If you want to learn more about this and how vocab responds to this, pick up his book. I've got it in the description of the video. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about this before we close out?
To Christians watching this, if you know a Hebrew Israelite, which you're going to meet one. They're not just out on the corners. They're at your job more and more. They're in your family. It's going to, I think within 5 years, it's going to rival and surpass the Nation of Islam as the largest competitor in the city for the Christian church. I don't think that's
the whole point. That's what he's afraid of. He said nothing different from J. Edgar Hoover. Put J. Edgar Hoover back up there again. He's worried that the Negro unity in the scriptures, he said that if this continues, he said it's going to surpass Islam and it's going to be the number one threat against white supremacy, Christianity. He ain't said nothing different from, put that up there. He said nothing different from what J. Edgar Hoover. You might as well give J. Edgar Hoover give him a hood pass.
Same spirit.
It's the same spirit. The same spirit. I hope y'all understand that. White supremacy. He's about white supremacy because that's what this is about. Go back to that demon vocab. The same thing.
Wow.
It's the same thought. That's what he's worried about. But what did he do? He got on our platform. Go ahead, play it. Play it.
largest competitor in the city for the Christian church. I think that's almost certain. So you're going to meet them.
Hold it. Get that statement again. Back it up a little bit. You got I'm gonna let the whole statement play because he's letting you know what is the single greatest threat to white supremacy. He's telling you straight up. Max Kellerman basically told you, and Vlad basically told you. Vlad spoke against one of the leaders that the black community love. Knowing damn well the man didn't mean that, but you're gonna use that to say, you know what? I'm disavowing him.
So another word for white supremacy is Christianity.
100%. 100%. Vocab Malone basically told you so-called Negroes. I got to be careful. I don't want to use the word nigs again because y'all make me sick with your gullibleness. You allow Max Kellerman, you allow this demon, you allow this other dude. This is ridiculous. Go ahead. What you were saying?
I was just saying another word for white supremacy is Christianity.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
They stand behind Christianity.
Exactly.
And, that's what they forced on us. I mean, we wasn't in Christianity before we came over here off those slave ships. So the people that tortured us, conquered us, got us working in the slave field, that's their religion, Christianity.
Exactly. And the KKK, which means Christian again. Christianity. That's what these guys are. Vocab is a KKK member. Straight up.
And
Max Kellerman, KKK members.
Right.
They're all the same.
And Donald Trump show you his hand.
Exactly.
And we still got foolish people that call themselves following him.
Right.
Make no sense, D. Make no sense. We can play on.
Play that statement again.
I think within 5 years, it's going to rival.
Back it up. I want to let the whole statement come through.
If you know a Hebrew Israelite, which you're going to meet one. They're not just out on the corners. They're at your job more and more. They're in your family. It's going to, I think within 5 years, it's going to rival and surpass the Nation of Islam as the largest competitor in the city for the Christian church. I think that's almost certain. So you're going to meet them.
So you're saying take it seriously, right?
Yes, I am saying take it seriously, and I'm also saying ask them what they believe. Find out what they believe.
That's it. I don't need to hear no more from him. He's letting you know what his fear is. He's letting you know what he's terrified of. He's terrified of the Israelites. That's what he's terrified of. Give me Revelation 11. Revelation 11.
Verse 8D.
Yes, sir. No, verse 11. 11 and 11. Okay. Yeah.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half.
I want you to understand what Max Kellerman is afraid of, what J. Edgar Hoover was afraid of, what Vocab is afraid of, and what Vlad is afraid of. They are afraid of what we're reading right here. This is what they're afraid of. This is what they're trying to get rid of. But you allow this dude, Vocab to have some so-called Negro hip-hop beats in the back of his podcast, and you black people thinking that he's down. Talking about he's got his hat on backwards, might put on some shades. That's complete mockery. You just heard the man. He said he's terrified of this truth threatening white supremacy. He believes in a so-called white Jesus, just like the KKK believes in a white Jesus, just like Max Kellerman believe in a so-called white Jesus. Anything that brings out the fact that Christ is black, Max Kellerman is against it, Vocab is against it, J. Edgar Hoover damn sure is against it,
right?
Okay, and Vlad is against it. But you giving them all a pass, except J. Edgar Hoover, because he basically showed you straight out that he can't stand us. He set up our leaders, COINTELPRO and all that, and was killing them like flies, killing our brothers. But these people are no different. That's what you're reading. That's what we're checking out now. Read.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them.
The spirit of life from God entered into them. They don't want that to happen with the Israelites. They don't want the spirit of life to come in and bring us the unity. They don't want that. They don't want us to resurrect from the blood from the fuel that we are supplying to keep this country running. We are literally the fuel that keeps this country rolling. They don't want us to be resurrected from that. They don't want us out of slavery. And we're in a greater slavery condition now than we were in chattel slavery. I'm gonna show that next week, Lord willing. That we make that America is actually doing better in terms of riches that they're getting from our destruction. They're actually more richer now than they were in physical slavery. I played that article a few weeks back. I'm going to show y'all that again. They're actually better off now, today, with the trillions of dollars that we give in our ignorance. Trillions of dollars. Before, they used to have to clothe us in slavery.
Right.
They used to have to provide your shelter.
Right.
They used to have to feed you. They used to have to, but now they say you have jobs.
Right.
And the jobs that you have is minimum wage, where you can barely keep your nose above the water level from drowning. And you're working like wild horses, trying to survive.
Bring it out, D.
And the little bit that you get to spend on a car, or whatever, you can't even enjoy it. Because you miss one payment and the car's gone. You miss one payment and the house is gone. You miss one little thing and you're in submerged debt, which is slavery. Then you go and commit a crime because your baby's hungry. Then they lock you up and make more money off of you in this wicked prison system. So they're making billions and billions and billions of dollars off of us, much more than they made in slavery.
Dick, that's a heavy point you made there because you work these jobs. You drive to work in a new vehicle.
Right, well, exactly.
Oh, Mercedes, BMW,
Right.
you pull up on the lot, and the boss man and all them looking at it. The boss man in his mind here said, yeah, look what I bought.
Right.
I got that for him.
Exactly.
I'm telling you,
I
Dick,
buy
that was
them
heavy when you brought
cars.
that out.
I buy them
Yeah.
cars. I buy them houses.
We still in slavery.
We was in slavery. That's the point.
Yes, sir.
Read.
And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them.
This is the work of an enemy. That's the reason why I'm reading these scriptures to you, for you to learn which is which. The enemies of your own people and the enemies of the true enemies. Know the difference, brothers. Know the difference, sisters. You're my people. Go ahead.
And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them.
And what?
And great fear fell upon them.
Read that verse again.
And great fear fell upon them.
Read the whole verse again so they can know where the fear came from.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them.
Entered into these dead bones, to these dry bones. Even your black preachers like T.D. Jakes try to attribute the dry bones to these so-called white people. That's talking about us, the dry bones that Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, was talking about. That's us. That's what we're reading about there. And there's a precept in there as well that takes you to Ezekiel 37. Right there in that Bible. I've seen them. I've seen those precepts before. Go ahead.
And they stood upon their feet.
And we stood up as men of God, as unified brothers and sisters that's coming together under the commandments of God. And because of that, our enemies were mad. Our real enemies were angry. Go ahead.
And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
And great fear fell upon them which saw them. That's what vocab's problem is right there. That's the reason why he said that if this thing goes unabated, with no stopping, because he said he's certain that it will be the number one contender against white supremacy. Oh, I'm sorry, Christianity. The same thing.
Right.
Well, you people, you're in that cemetery religion where you're buried in a crooked theology, talking about a white Christ. That's what he's worried about. Read it again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them.
The spirit of life from God. That's the unifying power of the Most High in Christ in that Bible. Go ahead.
And they stood upon their feet.
And we stood up. We're no longer Negroes. We're no longer slaves. We are the children of the Most High. And because of that, the Lord is going to do a work in our day. He's going to build us up, brothers and sisters, right here in the midst of our enemies. The Lord said he's going to set us in order right before their eyes. And that's what's happening right now, brothers and sisters. Understand that. And your enemies are terrified of it. Your real enemies. You're not supposed to love them. These people hate your guts. Yes, we have to work with them. We have to do all of those things. But don't bring them home. Don't talk about marrying them. The scriptures tell us about that. For they will turn your heart away from me. That's what the Lord said. Read.
And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
And great fear fell upon vocab, fell upon Max Kellerman, fell upon Vlad, and all the enemies of Israel. All of the nations. But mainly this one here. This Edomite. Mainly him. Great fear is going to fall on him because he said, what is God doing with these people? And they know what God is doing, and they know that they're going to pay for the death that they caused the apple of God's eye, the children of Israel.
That's right.
They know they're going to pay for that.
That's right.
Is that it on that?
Yes, sir.
All right. All praises to the Most High. Go ahead.
Dick, don't forget the scripture you mentioned earlier. It was in Sirach. I don't want you to
Oh,
forget
yes,
that one.
yes. Come on. Oh,
25 and
man, you're on
5 and
point.
7,
Come
yes.
on. Man, how can I leave that one out? Wow.
Yeah.
All praise to the Most
What
High.
was that, 25 and 9?
25 and
7.
7. Yes, sir.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 7.
Listen up, you so-called black people.
That's right.
You so-called North American Indians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, listen.
There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy.
The Most High said there be, well, that's the Most High speaking through the prophets, because all of this, the Most High gives us that beauty for us to see what's beautiful. Go ahead.
And the 10th I will utter with my tongue.
So he's going to utter the 10th one. Go ahead.
A man that hath joy of his children.
A man that have joy with his children. Here you have a system that's trying to get our children aborted.
Right.
That's snatching. That's creating an atmosphere where your children ended up getting shunted into the prison system, getting shunted into the juvenile system, getting aborted in hospitals, getting jacked up in hospitals, getting snatched up on the street, and our children are stolen from us and taken from us. Go ahead, read that statement again.
Hey, Deke, right quick. Yeah. When George Floyd was there, that knee on his neck, and he was calling for his mama.
That's something.
If his mama was alive, would she would like to see her child being put down like that?
And just
think about children.
Exactly. This is, just when you say that, you just feel the pain of the mother. You can feel the pain, like Brianna Taylor's mother. You can feel the pain of our people just losing their loved ones at will.
Yes.
For nothing.
Especially when you see the part when they took him out of the car.
Right.
He was like a child.
He was like a child. It's just horrible. But this is what's going on because the Most High is trying to wake us up. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children.
This is what we hope to do. We want to be able to have joy with our children, but we can't have joy with our children because the Bible says that they shall go into captivity. They're going into the prison system, on drugs, getting raped, all that.
Emmett
Till, Brianna Taylor. This is what happens to our children. Go ahead.
And he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
That's the other thing that is happy.
Oh, boy.
We want to be able to see the fall of our enemies. Read it again.
There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue.
And the 10th thing that makes us happy. Go ahead.
A man that have joy of his children.
A man that have joy of his children. That makes us happy.
And he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
And we and us, hopefully we get to see the fall of our enemies.
Oh, praise him.
That's beautiful. That is gospel.
Music to my ears.
That's music.
And you said in the title, D, enemy is thy enemy?
It's that enemy, exactly.
Which is which?
Which is which?
You better defer which one this one is we're talking about right now.
All praise
it's
to the
Rock 25:7 because it just spoke.
Exactly. All praise to the Most High. Yes, sir.
Let's close it out with this. Wisdom of Solomon 18:7.
Oh yes. Come on. Oh, Lord have mercy. You're cooking with gas right now, man. Shoot.
Read it strong for you.
Yeah, remember. We need y'all to remember this.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, verse 7. So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous,
the salvation of the Israelites,
and the destruction of the enemy.
And the destruction of everybody that had us in captivity.
That's beautiful. That's the gospel. That's the good news.
It can't be one without the other.
That's exactly right. All praises to the Most High. Brothers and sisters, I hope y'all got something out of this class.
Yes, indeed.
I hope y'all spirits were waking up. And on behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we are happy to bring this word to you, and we want you to stay in the spirit. Keep reading your Bibles, okay? Right. 4 chapters a day, like the bishop advised us to do. And it's a good thing for us to continue to do that, okay? Stay strong, Israel. Go ahead, Cap. What you got?
All praises. So, Israel, happy Sabbath to y'all. Remember, don't neglect to give your alms. As y'all see, just like the Bible, the book of our fathers, we're able to bring this message out to you from the Bible, the book of our fathers, like never before. Thank the Most High for that. And also thank the Most High for you. So don't neglect to give your alms. For those who would like to give alms, fill out an envelope and place it in the alms box in your local IUIC, okay? To give alms online, donate to IUIC Concord, which is via PayPal at iuic.concord.nc@israelunite.org, okay? And continue to donate to the Booster Club via PayPal, IUIC.fundraising@israelunite.org. And we appreciate your donations. Thank you very much.
Okay, to my brothers in the booth, King Kaz and Soldier Israel, take us out with the outro, brothers. Y'all know how we do it.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom, Israel.
Christ bless you.
Happy Sabbath.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel. 34 times the Booster Club has been called upon, and 34 times they've answered. Join the team today and help send the prophets around the world. 12 tribes worldwide. Shalom.
I can't get enough for this word. Call me library. All you do is talk. I tell him read. I'll be your pallbearer. As long as my hands clean, I'ma teach. I let the laws tear. You rebuck your doctrine. Can't believe I even fell for it. Yeah. Dropping. No top models, no need for worries, cause God got us. See, masculinity need to be shown for real. And all of you that's cross-dressing would be dressed to be killed. Apollo Creed, but I'm hitting like I'm Holyfield. You counting sheep, but you the hireling, the type to fleet. It's for the meat, when the battle won, they gnash their teeth. I can't believe I even fell for their hypocrisy. Like it or not, it's Kwam Yasharala. Laws attached to the brain, medulla oblongata. We are not the same over here, we walk with giants. 10 toes down with the clay is mixed with iron. I can't get enough for this word, call me library. All you do is talk, I tell him read, I'll be your pallbearer. As long as my hands clean, I'ma teach, I let the laws tear. You rebuck your doctrine, can't believe I even fell for it.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.